This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is Mike Goodell.
I'm Casey Wilbanks-Coletti.
And this is Sophia Agela. Welcome to Wisdom by WESA on the Horse Radio Network.
This podcast is brought to you by the Western and English Sales Association, WESA, which provides the world's largest trade events for retailers, manufacturers, and sales representatives of the equestrian industry. In this podcast, we feature exclusive interviews with noteworthy Western and English personalities, retailers, and exhibitors who you've always wanted to talk to. Don't miss out on all the news for manufacturers and retailers in the equine industry.
Sophia, the last Wisdom by WESA episode that we recorded was aired during the trade show. We haven't talked to you since that time. Why don't you fill us in on what happened there? Buyers and exhibitors were there. Give us all the information that people want to know.
Yes, so we set up 385 exhibitors, and we also welcomed over 1,300 buyers, and those were from almost 600 stores. And about 30 of those buyers were actually international visitors, and yeah.
And how's that compare to previous shows you had in Denver?
So because of the pandemic, the numbers decreased. But what was interesting is that we sold 6,000 square feet more in Dallas than we had in Denver in the past show in 2020. And 25% of the buyers that we had this year were actually new to the WESA trade show. So that was, of course, exciting and promising.
So what are the plans and the dates for the next shows?
The next WESA trade show will be in August. Those dates are going to be August 26th through the 29th. And then after that, we'll celebrate 100 years of the WESA trade shows in January 2022. So both upcoming shows are really exciting, as it's our first trade show in August. And then we get to celebrate 100 years of education, trade, and fellowship of WESA.
Okay. Now, we also have a pretty interesting guest today, and I want to get right to him. I'll give a brief introduction about Patrick Powers, because he assumes the role of WESA's president. As you mentioned, the association embarks on its 100th anniversary and on the heels of its first winter show in Dallas. He joins us today to chat about the past success and the future goals of this organization. Hey, Patrick, thanks for joining us on the Wisdom by WESA podcast.
Not a problem. Looking forward to it.
Well, we got a lot of interesting things to talk about. You are the incoming president of this organization. This organization happens to be celebrating its 100th anniversary, and we are on the heels of the very first show down in Dallas. So it gives us a lot to talk about. By the way, congratulations on becoming president of WESA. Give us your take first on how the show went down in Dallas, and then let's talk about a 100-year organization and how it's going to move forward.
Well, considering that everything, that's been going on in our country with the coronavirus and all the problems that has caused, the market was spectacular. We had very good attendance. I personally had a great show. I had a fantastic January period. The show, did have a few customers who did not want to attend because of the coronavirus. Everybody else who was there was very pleased. I had one customer that had commented how great the show was, and he was really appreciative that we had moved out of the trailer park and really upped our game into a nicer facility.
Well, those are the kind of things you want to hear, not only from your own role as a sales representative, from your upcoming role with WESA. Now, let's chat a bit about an organization that started 100 years ago, and you get the privilege of taking it into the second century. How do you see WESA, what his role is, and where do you see and want to see the association move forward through not the next 100 years maybe, but at least the next few years?
Well, yes, I don't think I'll make it for the next 100, but I sure hope I make it for the next few anyway. Our, main goal is to continue to grow our trade show as the number one Western trade show in the world. We have, most years, we generally have quite a few international customers who come. I believe the last show was not this Dallas one, but the last regular show we had from 19 countries, I believe. We have people from almost every state that come. We need to continue to grow that business and provide those retailers who come to see us a place to buy their goods for their stores, so that they have not only the needs that they already currently have, but maybe to find new products that they've never seen before. So that's what our goal is, to continue to grow our trade show and to make it a spot where people, not only retailers, but manufacturers, want to come to show and purchase their goods for the coming year.
And I would assume that as the pandemic fades away, or at least becomes not as much of a problem, that the excitement and the activity taking place in Dallas is going to get a little stronger every year.
Absolutely. There will be less concern with this virus later. There will be a fair majority of the population who has desires, that has got vaccination. There will be others who maybe have already had it and are not concerned with it. People who don't want to wear a mask. That was one of the main things I had, problems with. Customers who said, I don't want to go because I don't want to wear a mask. I have issues with wearing a mask. I understand that. I personally don't like to wear one either. However, to make the show go on, I certainly did wear one. We will be more vigilant and continue to do all the things that we need to do to make it a safe environment for our sales reps that attend, our manufacturers that attend, as well as our retailers that attend. That's going to be our number one concern, is the safety of the entire show.
Now, you mentioned a lot of positive comments from the retailers were there. What did you hear from other people in your part of the industry who were exhibiting there?
I had many conversations with manufacturers when I went to do some visits. They were all very pleased with the facility. The escalators worked. The facility is much nicer and cleaner. The facility has better lighting, a better layout. Everyone liked that the temporary booths were all on one floor, much easier to navigate. All the permanent showrooms are on one floor. It was a very good show. And going forward, once people learn the layout, it will really get nothing but better.
Well, I think that's great. And while I mention it, because I mentioned you are on the exhibitors and the brand side of the fence, tell us a bit about who you're working with, the brands you're now representing, and you talk about that great January, because that's kind of interesting when a lot of businesses are still struggling because of the pandemic.
Well, I work for Montana Silversmith, Hui Brands, a small boot company named Finolio Boot Company that makes American-made products, and then another company, Western Fashions, which they now call themselves WFA. But with Montana Silver, such a large majority of our customers had a huge Christmas season, sold lots of product. Many of the jewelry cases you went back in after Christmas were empty. Hui Brands has an unbelievable growth that even in the pandemic year, we had a great growth pattern. We can't hardly get enough product in to keep our retailers satisfied. I'm booking out customers for all year long. And the Finolio Boot Company, they're a small growing boot company. Like I said, they make boots 100% American made in the lovely state and city of Nocona, Texas. And Western Fashions, they do belts and wallets and all kinds of other things that they have the Twisted X brand of accessories. So they're a growing little company as well.
I know there's always interest in recruiting more retail members, and I'm wondering if that will be one of your goals under your presidency, and also how you are introducing these new companies and new brands to realize that WESA is their friend.
Certainly, we always want to get more retailers to come see us. We get more retailers, we get more manufacturers. We as a board have a goal to tell every store that each of us go to visit, because we're all sales reps. We're all out and about in the field. We all spread the word about the WESA show and how if a store is maybe looking for new goods, looking for to see an entire line of a product line that maybe a salesman can't carry with him because the line's too large. If you're looking for one place to go, your best option is the WESA show, whether it be January or our August show. Our August show is still a very good show. We anticipate that it will be much better than our fall shows that we had in Denver, just because that had gotten to be a stale show. Fresh new show in Dallas in August should have great participation. I spoke with many customers and manufacturers, and they said, I am going to come back in August, which is what we hope people will come to both shows, because there's, new products at every show.
Well, yeah, I mean, anytime you're in your part of the industrial world, in the retail world, it thrives on something new. It's either a new customer or a new product or a new version of a new product. And that's what makes the retailing world go around. And it's what makes the company you represent and the other manufacturers, what makes their world go around. But I think what's interesting is that, and you're not the first person who has told us this, a lot of people in the Western goods industry, if you will, have had really pretty good years. The retailers have learned how to adjust. The manufacturers have learned how to adjust. I think when they go to a show like WESA, they talk to each other. How are you doing this? How do you do that? How can we work together? And I think that's really the role that WESA plays in the entire Western industry. And again, congratulate you on the opportunity to lead it into the second century.
Well, it's not just me. It's an entire board. I just happen to be the lucky person who has this position at this particular time. But there are other members that we all do everything together. I don't make any decision. It's a decision that the entire board makes.
Well, and I think that's important for everyone to understand as well. Listen, Patrick, I do appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. As you mentioned, you were waiting in a parking lot, which means you're either going to get out of your car and go somewhere, or you're going to take the car and go somewhere, and we don't want to hold you back from that. But I do appreciate you taking the time to chat about exactly what WESA does, how it does it, and what it's going to be doing for everybody in the future.
Well, I appreciate it too. So we love to get the word out about the WESA show and our great new location and our partnership with the Dallas Market Center. It is going to be nothing but good from here on out, going to grow, be a better show, and we hope that we have better participation from our manufacturers as well as more retailers. We appreciate what y'all are doing for us as well, so thank you.
Well, thanks so much. It's a good partnership, and we love doing it. It's always fun to talk to people who are in the industry, out there working every day with creative ideas and creative products. And so it's a fun experience on our side as well. Patrick, thank you very much.
You bet. Hal, have a great day.
You bet. The show notes and the links from today's show can be found on the wisdombywesa.com website. And of course, we'd love to hear your feedback if you have some. There's a contact link on that website.
The Wisdom by WESA show will be published on the 15th and 30th of every month. You can listen on most of your favorite podcast players, and you can also listen on the Horse Radio Network app on your iOS or Android phone. You just search Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and super easy to use. Be sure to visit all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com. Thanks for listening to the Wisdom by WESA podcast. WESA, where the industry meets.